Listen up, Gypsy. Nobody gives a fuck about your community and your reconnecting
You need
shit.
to take your big black ass.
Oh, and I did just
off my
tell you that.
page and never come
Conspiracy
back.
theory
The
puzzle.
It's a good thing
reason why
about
I-
facts. You don't have to
Dakota
like them
But I
because
want
they
to
be
state
true.
the fact that
I
that
know
doesn't
it's a strange
it's not a
concept.
representation.
Depending on graduation
That's
rate.
one thing that
For
you
us,
believe.
I love the narrative
You
that
think that
this
he's
planet
not
is
wrong
how
to
long
mark
has
it.
been
Look,
deactivated.
you want to be the weird
Billions
so
of destroyed
go
by some
ahead.
other
You
alien
can believe that.
Decolage is something that we in the pagan, witchcraft, and occult communities have to face every day. The racism, the misinformation, the sexism across platforms such as here on YouTube or Facebook, Discord, and especially on TikTok. And that's why I'm here. Hello everyone, I'm Dandy Andy Drew, also known as Father Lygon and Oshandris Lesiorbis. I've been a priest for the past 13 years and have studied several traditions and faiths. Growing up, my mother was very keen on me learning apologetics and going through catechism. And I didn't really vibe with Christianity. That's the easiest way and best way I can word it. I did feel a resonance with Hellenismos, being the ancient Greek religion, and decided to pursue training there. I was trained by members of the YSCE as an Apollonic priest. I was charged with starting my own temple, and well, I lived in a tiny town in Texas, and no one in that town practiced any form of Hellenic practice. So, I decided to go ahead and go into Alexandrian Wicca. With me going into Wicca, and I achieved my 3rd degree, I started my own coven there, and that coven developed over time into an international religious order, focusing on education, cultural studies, theology, and devotional polytheism. In late 2013 into early 2014, I took sabbatical from my order and became a monastic at the monastery of Our Lady of the Ravens Wood in Oklahoma. While there, I received an honorary doctorate in theology for my 141-page dissertation titled The Importance and Relevance of Dogma in Pagan Religious Studies. And that monastery, shortly after I left, had to close its doors due to lack of funding. I've heard of a few other monastic projects in the pagan community and the witch community, occult community, come up, and the biggest issue that they end up running into is that funding. It is not cheap to run a monastery. Now, while I was training under my old high priestess in the Alexandrian tradition, she gave me this warning about keeping eye out on and for an ego. It's important to keep oneself centered and not to let yourself get consumed by whatever power you may believe that you have or may even actually have. When that ego takes hold, though, it all falls apart. On top of that, she also taught me to keep a weary eye, because at that time in our community, and we still face it today, is sexual predation by those in powerful positions. And the thing is that it's not just that sexual predation, it is predation overall. Religious leaders will take their positions and abuse people that either follow them or adhere to their teachings, and they abuse that authority and that power. Over the years, I have seen several issues plague our communities, be it from the AFA and the racism that is so heavily embedded into it coming out and becoming more well known in the community. And that led to the composition and the signing of several organizations to Declaration 127. which was to end any form of racism and discrimination in Norse pagan practices. And that leads to even now where witches are giving advice to people on herbal remedies to bring about abortion and termination of pregnancy. Not only is it that you could potentially terminate that pregnancy with some of these, but the thing is that this could also end that pregnant person's life. One of the advices that I saw someone give was for people to consume aconite, which is a very, very deadly poison. And it's a problem, and these things need to be addressed. The rampant racism and cultural appropriation, the sexism and the transphobia have consumed so many aspects of our community that it's important for us to go back and reflect upon the historical, religious, and cultural truths that make our paths unique. Early on in the pandemic, there was something that occurred that I found very interesting. It was this trend of witches cursing the moon or cursing the fae. And not only was that a bad idea, it was just so out there, something that no one in my community that I've ever met in person would actually pursue. Mind you, I've never been online. All of my work was word of mouth. All of my work has been working on feet on ground with my community. And only recently was it that I really started seeing all of these trends online over the last couple of years. Seeing all of these conversations that happen on all of these different platforms, and have recently had the joy of discovering Discord servers, which has been interesting. I was talking to a colleague of mine about a lot of the issues that I was seeing, and one of the things that he told me was that I've always been a teacher and I've always taught students in person. But the thing is that the community as a whole would benefit from me actually saying something, which has led me to this path of becoming a content creator, which I don't know what I'm doing. I have absolutely no fucking idea what I'm doing. But here I am. I did the video editing, and this is where we're going. Hope we all have fun here. But now to go ahead and go over what I plan for this channel. So I decided to start this channel in order to talk about issues that are plaguing our communities. And also I want to give my own insights in regards to certain aspects of the New Age movement, which are a little bit problematic. And one of the many things that I plan on doing is talking about individuals who cause great harm to this community, either for their financial benefit, the benefit of being heard, or maybe they are well-intentioned and are just very grossly misinformed. I don't know everything. I will never claim to know everything. The subjects that I am informed on and that I am trained in are very niche. And that's why I developed a research team in order to help with these topics. That way that I can give the most accurate information possible. On top of that, if I do give misinformation, I will blithely apologize, and I will make sure to correct my mistakes. So currently, what I plan for this channel is that once a month, I will be making a video essay. Then every couple of weeks, I'll do a small Q&A, which will be called Ask Dad, because Dandy Andy Drew, I'm a priest, it just makes sense. Now, I would love people to leave comments so that I can answer questions, or if you want to join my Discord server, there's a link in my channel, and there will be a link provided underneath this video. If you want to help with research, or if you want to just be part of the conversation, we'll have a channel set up called Ask Dad, and feel free to ask whatever questions you have. I want my communities to be safe. I want to hear the voices of those that are silenced by the greed and the ignorance and arrogance of others. And I take it as my obligation to do so. May the gods bless you all, and may you all blessed be.